you can even watch back. Giving players all the props or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
Play it on the car ride, play it when you lounge. X and O, you know that we can hold it down. Shout out to my man Sammy, got it off the ground. And to all the listeners tuned in right now, got debates, analysis, and speculation. This is sports talk for the new generation. You know where to find us, got a reputation. Sick podcast, your #1 sports destination.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
S-I-C-K, it's the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk back. S-I-C-K,
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 S-I-C-K.
all in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
S-I-C-K, it's the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
Play it on the car ride, play it when you lounge. X and O, you know that we can hold it down. Shout out to my man Sammy, got it off the ground. And to all the listeners tuned in right now, got debates, analysis, and speculation. This is sports talk for the new generation. You know where to find us, got a reputation. Sick podcast, your #1 sports destination.
Giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick, sick.
S-I-C-K, it's the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk back. S-I-C-K,
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 S-I-C-K.
S-I-C-K.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. With Tony Marinaro.
55 seconds left in the penalty, a minute and 27 seconds left in regulation time. Boston 4, Montreal 3. Lafleur coming out rather gingerly on the right side. He gives it into Lemaire, back to LaFleur. Oh!
The sickest Montreal Canadiens podcast.
You're in the ball!
Sports entertainment like no other.
Rejoint, on lui fait perdre la rondelle, une passe devant. Et c'est le dégagement et ce sera la victoire des Canadiens. Stanley pour les Canadiens, le 23e de l'histoire.
You found the dogs! John, you found the dogs! He found the dogs! And all together, they worked a young team to the top. And now, a 24th Stanley Cup banner will hang from the rafters of the famous Forum in Montreal. The Canadiens win the Stanley Cup!
Brought to you by Energy Transportation Group. Driven to be different. La Vida Tibi. Embrace your true nature. And Playground, your premier gaming destination. It's gonna be sick.
Marinaro, the Sick Podcast on this Tuesday, August 1st. It is 2 minutes past 10 p.m. How is everyone doing tonight? Nice to see you all, even though I can't see you. But I know that you're watching on YouTube Live, on Twitter Live, and on Facebook Live. It is the Sick Podcast. I am Marinaro, and it's brought to you in part by Playground, your premier gaming destination, open 24/7. Drinks are always free while you play. Over 600 machines, poker tournaments, cash games, daily promotions, free valet, and unmatched customer service. Why go anywhere else? Located just over the Mercier Bridge, only minutes from downtown Montreal. It is Playground. You know that pretty much the entire city has been camped out at Playground for a couple of months now because the Bad Beat jackpot is over $2.5 million. If you're a poker player, you know what a bad beat is. A bad beat basically is getting beat with four of a kind. And the way it works is they start off with aces. And the way you're going to get beat, obviously, is with a straight or a royal flush. And then about a month later, if you don't get beat bad with the four aces, then it goes down to four kings. And a month later, if you don't get beat, it goes down to four queens. And then a month later, if you don't get beat, it goes down to four jacks. And then a month later, if you don't get beat, it goes down to four tens. And we're at four eights right now. So the way you can get beat on a bad beat with four eights is you can get beat by four nines, four tens, four jacks, four queens, four kings, or four aces, or a straight or a royal flush. If you happen to be one of the poker players and you have four eights and you get beat in the bad beat, well, you're going to take home about $1 million. And if you're the player who's going to beat the player that has the four eights, you're going to take home close to $500,000. And if you're playing at that table where someone bad beats someone else, you're going to take home over $70,000. And if you're playing in the Playground at that time, in any one of the tables, if you're registered, even if you're in the bathroom, you're going to win money. And so pretty much half the city's there, camped out morning and night. It's a beautiful thing. Also brought to you in part by Bittt TV, distributed by the Geloso Group, a winner of a dozen international awards. Bittt TV offers quality microbrewery beers made with premium ingredients for everyone's taste. Bittt TV, embrace your true nature. And I send a shout out to Aldo Geloso. I send a shout out to Ted Farace. And I send the shout out to Fred Sartor, my friends, among those who are there. And there are even more than that. Speaking of which, my friends at Energy Transportation Group, Mike Cinquino, Sean Gerard, David Grassi, just to name a few. Energy Transportation Group, recently named by Deloitte and CIBC as one of Canada's best managed companies, the country's leading business award recognizing innovative and world-class companies. The best managed Canadian companies designation fuels Energy's purpose of creating progress for their customers, their employees, and their communities. Join a winning team and check out Energy's career page for available opportunities. As a matter of fact, a friend of mine spotted a big Energy truck earlier today, took a picture and sent it to me. It was pretty cool. Speaking of pretty cool, you know what else is pretty cool? Is the Living Sisu Hockey League. I told you I was invited there last week. Living Sisu, of course, whose owners are Zach Fucali, former Montreal Canadiens second-round pick, and just coming off a Calder Cup winning Hershey Bears team, as well as his friends Oliver and Alex. So you can buy tickets off the Living Sisu app for $10. and proceeds go to Pancreatic Cancer Canada. And it's basically 3-on-3 hockey. 3-on-3 hockey with many NHLers playing. And why don't we bring up the lineups of players who are playing now? Keep in mind that when I went last week, Raphael R.V. Pinard was there of the Montreal Canadiens. Caden Gooley was there of the Montreal Canadiens. And Nick Suzuki was there of the Montreal Canadiens. Tonight, only one Montreal Canadian player was there, and I'll get to it in a second. The lineups, as you see, for Team Cristallin, David Perron, Samuel Bolduc, Raphaël Lavoie, Simon Benoit, David Perron, Julien Gauthier, Daniel Sprong, and Louis Domingue. The other team had Pierre-Olivier Joseph, Mathieu Joseph, Hendrix Lapierre, Pierre-Luc Dubois, Samuel Poulain, Nicolas Baudin, Alex Newhook, and Devin Levi. And of course, Hendrix Lapierre is the player that many people, or here in Quebec, thought the Canadiens should have drafted the year they drafted Caden Gooley. And Gooley went 18th, I believe. And Hendrix Lapierre went a couple of picks after that to the Washington Capitals. I mentioned Montreal Canadiens. You should note that Nicolas Baudin of the Laval Rocket, of course, once again, was one of those players. Another lineup, there was another game. There were two games. There was one game that started around 5:15 p.m. Another game started around 6:30 p.m., 6:35 p.m. Anthony Beauvillier, who, by the way, is a terrific player in 3-on-3 hockey. Nicolas Aubé-Coubel, Samuel Blais, Anthony Manta, Maxime Comtois, Jonathan Aspiro, Nicolas Brouillard, and Frankie Le Pen as your goalie. The other team, Alexandre Carrier, Jonathan Drouin, Vincent Desharnais, Nicolas Deslauriers, Xavier Bourgault, Bio Gru, Jeff Yell, and Alex Dubois. All right, and there you have it. And so I was there, and a bunch of people were there. It was like pretty much standing room only. It was packed. Everyone with a smile on their face. It's good hockey. It's fun. It's kind of like, reminds me kind of like basketball because, of course, smaller ice surface. It's kind of like a basketball game where it's basically offense one end, offense the other end. Offense one end, offense the other end. It's pretty cool. With one pass, all of a sudden you're out of the zone. You created a scoring chance. It wasn't the only one there. I picked up the phone. I called Shayne Gaumond, new addition, recently acquired. Let's call him a free agent with the Sick Podcast. And I said, Shayne, meet me at Hockey Etc. We're going to go watch the LSHL. Let's bring him on. For the first time with me together, huh? What's going on?
Yes, sir. How are your feet, Tony? Did they unthaw yet?
Yeah. My feet were very, very cold. Very cold. It was nice and cold in the arena, the way it should be, obviously. But my feet got pretty cold. And at one point, I said, well, I can't take this anymore. But Shayne, I got you on tonight. This is your initiation, okay? You're here for the first time ever. No pressure. In the next 60 seconds, basically explain the left-wing lock.
Excuse me? Finish your sip. Look at this beautiful.
No, explain the left-wing lock, and then we'll talk about ways that we can counter it.
Anyways, my feet were also pretty cold, but it really was a good time though. Like you said, Tony. I talked to the organizing committee, whatever, the people in charge of this event.
Well, the owners are Zach Oliver, and Alex. Yeah,
and like I told them how awesome it was. Like I'd never been before. The only issue is it really is parking. Like I had to park on the street, and some bozo parked behind me with like this much space between our cars. So if you're listening to this and you parked behind a white Elantra, I don't like you. But I didn't manage to get out. So
you did get out.
All good. No foul.
This is why everywhere I go pretty much nowadays, I go with the Vespa, Shayne, with the Vespa.
Ooh. But I live an hour away. I can't do that.
You can pick up. You can pick up at XL Moto 5480 Pare. Call Vito Di Cosola or Ali Hussein, and they will take care of you because in the last 5 years, they're the #1 dealership in North America for sales of Piaggio scooters. Talking about Piaggios, Vespas, and Aprilias, of course. It's a beautiful thing. I am, for one, am part of the Vesperonis group, which has about 9 or 10 members. And on Saturdays or Sundays, weather permitting, whichever one has the nicer weather, we go. We meet at around 10 o'clock in the morning, and we usually get back home at around 3 o'clock in the afternoon. We ride for about an hour and a half, and we stick around together and mingle for about 3.5 hours. It's a beautiful thing. So the next, get yourself a Vespa, Shayne. But then again, you live, how far away do you live, you said?
About an hour. I live in Lake
An hour
If
away.
anybody knows where that is, shout out to you because not many people do.
I don't know where Lake Coteau is, but I know Coteau du Lac.
Oh, it's right next to it. Neighbors.
Is that right?
Yeah. So there's 3 different Coteaux. There's Lake Coteau, Coteau du Lac, and Coteau Landing. I'm in Lake Coteau.
Oh, okay. I got it.
Yeah.
I got it. Okay. I got it. All right. Okay. Nice watching the pod when the cams are not moving all over the place. All right. Is my camera still moving all over the place, by the way, or have we fixed that by now?
You're good.
We're good? Okay. Very good. I'm happy to hear it because my camera moves every now and then. A neighbor got a sidecar on their Vespa. You envious Tony? No, I'm not. What? Les Coteaux, je vis à Coteau du Lac, moi. This coming in from Matt Belchamber.
Yes.
Matt Belchamber. Tony, you will go in the Little Italy this weekend, Ital Fest. Will I go to Little Italy this weekend? I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to go a little. Probably on Sunday. Yes, maybe. Maybe on Sunday. Let me see. Hold on a second. Yeah. I'll be in Little Italy this weekend. Yeah, 100%. We're going for a ride this weekend. Others coming in. Tony, you need a spritz. This coming in from Sensible Fury. Let's see. Second. There we go. Okay.
Glorious.
We actually have. When we talk about breaking news, I think we have some pretty exclusive video coverage tonight. All right. Tonight's going to be a good one. Justin says, talk about Newhook. Folks,
you got it.
Are you ready? So what we did, Shayne and I told Shayne, I said, Shayne, you stand at one end of the rink. I'm going to stand at another end of the rink. And you focus on Alex Newhook as much as you can, and I will focus on Alex Newhook as much as I can. Now, do we have a picture of Alex Newhook by any chance? Do we have that? We probably do not have.
I think it's
a
only
picture
video.
Of Alex Newhook. We only have the video. Okay, let me see. No, we don't have the picture just yet. Okay, hold on a second. This is what we're going to do. We're going to get creative here, okay? Sometimes you need to get creative, okay? This is what we're going to do.
You took some nice pictures.
Yeah.
Him coming out the locker room was nice. Big smile on his face.
Okay. Are you ready? I got a good picture here. I got a good picture. All right.
Money.
There you have it. Nice smile, huh?
Yeah.
That's the way you can upload a picture. Okay, but I'll tell you what we do have, okay? We have some Alex Newhook shifts. So you know what? I think we got 4 shifts, and then we even have something that you're going to like to see. Let's go with 1 shift right now. There he is, number 14 in black. Goes to the net, stick down. Jumps on a loose puck. Uses the boards, protects the puck pretty well, goes back to the point, goes to the front of the net, tries to deflect. It's important that I talk here because I have to keep in mind that not everyone is watching the video, and tomorrow people will probably be listening on Google, Apple, or Spotify. He's a player that he's got good hands. He's a good skater.
Yeah.
He's I would say that, you know, he doesn't have the best shot. He's not the strongest player. He's not the thickest player. But he's a very smooth skater. He's got soft hands, and he's got hockey sense. The hockey sense, I think, and his skating ability are, you know, his two main attributes. There you have it. He goes to the bench. It's one shift. Let's have another one now. Here you go. He goes to the net there. He's got a good scoring chance. He takes a quick shot. It's stopped. Goes back in the slot area. Gets a pass. Jumps on a loose puck. Loses it there. Gets back. He's scanning the ice right now. So, all right, you know what? Let me set up on the right side here. Let me make sure I know exactly where my man is so my man doesn't break away. Takes a look. Here we go. Goes behind the net. Picks up his speed a little bit. By the way, this is tiring stuff, eh? This is tiring stuff. When you play like these, I don't know, 30, 35, 40-second shifts of 3-on-3, and it's up and down, up and down, up and down.
That's it. It's always moving.
Tries the one-touch pass right there. Was the only player who's going to play on the Montreal Canadiens team to start the season that was in the game tonight. You know why Suzuki wasn't there tonight?
He's on vacation.
Yeah.
He's on the beach.
Yeah, he definitely is. All right, here's another shift. Who's he with?
A little fella by the name of Cole.
Cole Caulfield. Yeah.
I wish I could go there. I think they're in the Bahamas, right?
They are.
Yeah.
They're in Nassau, Bahamas.
Good for them. Enjoy your summer, fellas. Because, I mean, training camp is 1 month away, basically. So.
Oh, it'll be here before you know it.
Exactly.
Did you see the way Newhook just accepted a pass and just I think he got away from Julien Gauthier.
Yeah,
and
he hit the post on that one.
Yeah, he went to the net. He faked forehand. He went backhand. And once he went backhand, he had the goalie beat, but he hit the post.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people were chanting like Newhook. They wanted him to score here tonight.
Well, Dan Nick from Habs Fan TV was there, and he was hyping up the crowd pretty good. But I mean, I kind of felt bad for the other players because every time he was on the ice or touched the puck, the crowd went wild. And obviously, when he scored, like he had 2 goals today, people went nuts. But the warm welcome he got, I think, will go a long way. Like we saw the picture right coming out the locker room with a big smile on his face. He looked like he was enjoying himself today, which is really nice to see.
Well, you know what? If you love hockey, you're going to enjoy playing in Montreal, obviously, because you're going to get a lot of it here. Where it's once again, I mean, here we are, the first day of August. There's a 3-on-3 hockey game. Yeah. And there's a buzz in the arena that's absolutely unbelievable. A buzz. I mean, you can't get that anywhere else in the National Hockey League. You wouldn't think anyway on August 1st.
I mean, look at that. The place is packed. It was packed. Nuts. And August 1st, the people, like you say this all the time, Tony, the people here are starved for hockey 12 months a year.
There was
even
a
in
pass,
August,
by the way, by Alex Newhook just made a great pass on what we're watching. And I think at one point he scored a goal. Did you get the goal? Because these shifts, these were shifts that I got footage of, and I think you got footage of the goal, which actually was scored on your end. Was it not?
It was. He scored twice.
That
started a bit early there, but
no. Can we see that again? Because I didn't see that going. There we go.
Nice shot.
Quick shot, yeah.
Yeah, really good. And then the second goal was more of so of a tic-tac-toe. Nice play, I believe, by who was it? I forget. I think it was Baudin, actually. I don't remember, but I didn't get that goal on camera. I was talking to Zach Fucale. So, but two nice goals from Newhook, and I thought he stood out. Like, to me, he wasn't the best player in that game. I'd say that was Mathieu Joseph, without a doubt. He was everywhere. Played really well. Samuel Poulin as well from Pittsburgh, I thought was really good in game 2. But Alex Newhook, he wasn't shy. He wasn't in the background. He stood out. He made some nice plays. Scored twice.
Let's go back to the rosters again.
Can't ask
in the
for
game
much
that
more.
Newhook played. In the game that Newhook played. All right, there you have it. So you brought up Mathieu Joseph, of the Ottawa Senators. All right.
Yeah, he was nice.
Last week when I came back, I said the best player that I saw was Mathieu Joseph. I thought he was absolutely unbelievable. At one point, for whatever reason, I had mistaken him with his brother Pierre-Olivier Joseph, but that was on me because Pierre-Olivier Joseph obviously is a defenseman and Mathieu Joseph is a forward. But Pierre-Olivier Joseph of the Pittsburgh Penguins and Mathieu Joseph of the Ottawa Senators. Mathieu Joseph last week was unbelievable. Tonight, he was unbelievable. Julien Gauthier last week was unbelievable. And another player that was unbelievable, I thought, last week, and we saw a little bit of his talent too tonight, is Anthony Beauvillier. Of course, the former New York Islander, who is now a Vancouver Canuck. He was part of the Bo Horvat deal. But Beauvillier is a terrific 3-on-3 player. But Mathieu Joseph is unbelievable too. And you know what's cool about going to watch these games is that there's a lot of players, obviously, from the province of Quebec, where Montreal is home in the summer. And at some stages of their career, these players are probably going to be available. And it's always nice to add a local player or two to your team. And it gives you a little bit of idea what these players can bring to the table, what they're all about. You and I were marveling at Anthony Manta's size.
Yeah,
Anthony
and then
Manta,
someone one upped them after that.
yeah, and that was Vincent Desharnais, who, by the way, I caught up with at the end of the night when I was on my way out. I actually saw him in the parking lot, and we both looked at each other and said hello, and then I went over and extended my hand to give him a handshake and introduce myself, and it was pretty cool. He said, "I know who you are," and he listens to French sports radio on BPM Sport, and he watches sports television on TVA Sport. So he knows who I am. I obviously know who he is. He plays with the Edmonton Oilers. I had a good talk with Zach Fucale about Vinny Desharnais. As a matter of fact, right before then, you were there. You were next. Zach Fucale was telling me that if you would have taken a look at Vinny Desharnais 4 or 5 years ago and you take a look at him now, the progress that he's made is absolutely unbelievable. And for those who are wondering, Vinny Desharnais is the player who fought Arbor Jackeye when Jackeye got hurt. And you and I were looking at him, and I said to you, off the top of my head, I can't think of a taller player in the National Hockey League right now than Vinny Desharnais. And I could be wrong.
Yeah.
I could be wrong because there's a couple of them that are pretty big. But Vinny Desharnais is 6'6". Is there another player in the National Hockey League who's 6'6" right now? I mean, back in the day, there was John Scott, who was bigger. And back in the day, there was Zdeno Chara, who was bigger. Yeah. But is there a player who's taller than Tyler Myers?
Jamie Alexiak is pretty big too.
Jamie Alexiak, yes.
I don't know if he's still the heaviest in the league. At one point, I know he was. I don't know about the height though. I think he's about
Tyler Myers is 6'8". Tyler Myers is 6'8", and Jamie Alexiak, whose sister obviously is Penny Alexiak, and she's one of the greatest Canadian Olympians, probably even ever. Jamie Alexiak is 6'7". So off the top of my head, Tyler Myers at 6'8" is the tallest. Alexiak at 6'7" is the second tallest. And Vinny Desharnais at 6'6" is the third tallest. Off the top of my head, there could be somebody I'm forgetting at this point. And special thanks to someone who actually brought it up in the chat. And Tage Thompson is also listed at 6'6".
It's a big boy.
So that's those are some big boys.
I mean, Desharnais had to duck to get through the door frame. Like
he had to duck.
He's huge.
Yeah.
I mean, he came out late for the first game. Like all the guys came out together and we saw Manitoba. We're like, oh wow, that is a big boy. And then a few seconds later, he comes out, hunched over and like towering over everybody. We just looked at each other. Oh my God. It's a large human. But he played well. It's not slowing him down. He doesn't have weird movements. He knows how to skate. So it's fine for him. And I mean, I've heard Connor McDavid compliment this guy. So I mean, that's just about as good as you can get right there.
Like I told you, he's a guy who just keeps on getting better and better all the time. Gets better and better all the time, and it's an amazing story, the story of Vinny Desharnais, who, by the way, has been he's done several interviews over the past hockey season, radio and television, and I had a nice chat with him. I think it's something that he's thinking about in his after career. He'd like to stay in hockey. I'm sure he'd love to talk about it, and I extended the invitation for him to join us on the Sick Podcast. So I don't know when that's going to be. But I'd be willing to bet that it's going to be sometime in the next month here. Okay.
Yeah.
So sometimes in the next month, Vinny Desharnais will join us, and very, very much looking forward to that. He's a really good guy. Really good guy.
He is. And I mean, it's funny that you say he's such a good guy because like he can be a bully on the ice. Like you don't want to get stuck in a corner with this guy, and you definitely don't want to drop the gloves. Like Arbor handled his own. He did dislocate his shoulder, but I mean, who would look at this man and say, "Oh yeah, I want to fight him"? Maybe Georges Larac. Apparently, he wants to fight everybody. But aside from that, like anybody with their screws on right would stray very far away from this man on skates. So. He's a specimen, but yeah, really nice guy, great player. Would be great to have him on the pod if you're watching Vincent.
Yeah, no, definitely. We're gonna have him on the pod, and we're gonna get some footage of. We're gonna put some videos, by the way, of Alex Newhook. Some of those videos that we showed, Agnello and Sammy and Juliana and Master Control. Let's get them up on our Twitter handle at the Sick Podcasts, and let's put them out there for Montreal Canadiens fans to be able to watch over and over and over and over again. All right, okay. Others, who else caught your attention?
Nicolas Aubé-Kubel in the first game, number 13.
But he scored like 2 goals in a minute. It was amazing, eh? Yeah.
It was amazing. So, at first, I thought it was Samuel Blais because we couldn't really see with the visor on. We're like, who is number 13? And then I saw Samuel Blais was wearing number 5. So I'm like, okay, who is this guy? Check the lineup. Nicolas Aubé-Kubel was a standout in game 1, no doubt about that. Alex, I forget the name of the goalie in the first game in the red team, made a sweet save. You're talking about
Dubois? Are you talking about Dubois?
Yeah, I think that was his name. Beautiful save.
I think there was Dubois and LePena, right?
It.
Those were the 2 goalies.
Alex Dubois.
And
very nice save. Yeah. That really caught my eye. And I got to be honest, Jonathan Drouin, I think he scored like 2 or 3 goals. He was active. I don't know. The Colorado pants looked pretty good on him. I as a hockey fan, I'm excited to see him play with McKinnon. Hopefully he does. If Jared Bednar gets the memo, like you got to put him on the line with McKinnon, especially since Landeskog's out the whole season. So if those two reconnect with like Rantanen on the right wing, that could really restart his career. Like, don't be surprised if he puts up a career year, given the right opportunities.
Well, I look at the same time. I mean, you saw him tonight in a 3-on-3 format. If Jonathan Drouin is not going to excel in a 3-on-3 format, then he never will. Because I mean, there's not much defense that is played in a format like that, and it's right up his alley.
You can't put too much stock into what we saw today, but I think that the environment he's going into and the chemistry that's already there with his potential center bodes well for him. I really think that's the best spot for him, and I don't know. He seems well. You said he didn't look too well, but I don't know. I thought he looked fine.
No, he. I think he had a little bit of the beard going, which he normally does. He was. He looks a little bit different. He's just getting older. Oh my God, Drouin scores 40 and gets 90 points. Habs fans will be miffed. Yeah, no, I don't think he's going to score. You know what it is though? He doesn't shoot enough to be able to score a lot of goals. He's a very unselfish player, very generous. Like we were watching Nick Suzuki 1 week ago. Suzuki kept on passing the puck all the time. Yeah. And Drouin likes to pass the puck a lot, obviously. 66 spinning. Are you buying the new Drouin jersey next year? Asks Cuckoo K69. Cuckoo K69. You're watching right now. Drouin will be good in Colorado, says Leon Renault. All right, okay. Do we have, by the way, you talked about Nick Suzuki, who wasn't there, and you mentioned that he is on vacation with teammate and line mate Cole Caulfield, who put up a picture on Instagram. Oh, yeah. Here you go.
Look at the hats. Matching hats. They played golf recently, and they had matching outfits. How cute is that? That's a bromance right there.
That could very well be a matching shirt too.
Oh,
mind you,
I want to see the shorts though.
Mind you, Suzuki's looks a little bit darker, based on the picture. And Suzuki's wearing the sunglasses. Cole Caulfield is not. Cole Caulfield's not wearing the sunglasses, huh? Nassau, Bahamas. Where do you think they went?
Hopefully that hotel there. I forget the name. I think it's like Atlantis or something like that.
So yeah, they probably went. So they either went to the Atlantis, or they went to what's it called? The Baha Mar.
Haven't been there.
Baha Mar, or Grand Hyatt Baha Mar, or the Atlantis. Yeah. It's one of those. But it's one of those.
Point is, like, it's fun to see them, first of all, go on a trip together, but also just going on a trip, right? Nick stayed in Montreal the entire summer so far, and he's going to come back here. Cole has been a little over the place, training with, Jack Hughes and Trevor Zegras and whatnot, doing his thing. But that chemistry between those two is unparalleled. I don't remember last time we saw, like, the fact that it's the two best players too, that they're just
inseparable.
Like this. It's amazing.
They you know what? They kind of remind me of the Sedin twins, even though they're not related. They're like it's almost like when Nick was born and Cole was born, they were born to play in the National Hockey League. They were both born to play on the same team. Yep. They were both born to play on the same line. And they were born to go on vacation together in the offseason. They are absolutely inseparable. They're great friends. And I think it's important when you're that close as friends, you spend a lot of time together. You end up actually talking about hockey. You end up visualizing the game. You end up trying to break down the opponent. And all of us, you end up sharing, some of your some of the things you want to do in terms of on the ice and where you go and this and that. And all of a sudden, you end up having unbelievable chemistry together. And I think it's really important for them to have the relationship they have. They have it. The Canadians are lucky. And we know that Cole Caulfield, it looks like will be a Montreal Canadian for the next 8 years, at least. And Nick Suzuki will be a Montreal Canadian for the next 7 years, at least, because that's how much time both of them have remaining on their contracts. Yeah. Pakenuka says, Tony, you live the way I dream. I doubt it, but I'm going to tell you that I don't have any complaints. I I'm doing what I love. I get the chance to talk sports on radio, television, and podcasts. I do it in 2 languages. I got myself a Vespa. I got a spa. And when I'm not working and when I'm not talking sports, I'm either driving around on my Vespa in the morning / afternoon or going in and relaxing in my spa at night. So it's good. I'm happy. Very, very happy. Aiden Daly says, Tony, I'm your biggest fan. Aiden, I know you are. I know you are. Aiden Daly. Remember this
Aiden.
name.
I think you're number 2.
What?
I think you're number 2.
I've met him before, and this guy is so smart. The guys on the Shark Tank, they call him and they ask him for business tips. this guy he's a genius. He's a genius. Aiden Daly and Chris Cedra, 2 of the smartest guys I've ever met in my life.
Jeez.
I'd have to add Sammy Cavallaro to that, by the way.
Valid. Yep. Valid.
Johnny Junta fan page says, I saw the Vesperonis in Little Italy. Johnny, why don't you stop by and say hello? Darcy Berger, I want one of those beers. Join the club. You can pick them up at IGA, by the way. They sell them at IGA.
Highly recommend. Highly recommend. Tony, did you see Lane Hudson's goal at the what was it called?
It's the
Junior Summer Showcase. That's it.
Yes, I saw it yesterday versus Sweden. It was a goal that put USA up by a score of 6-0. He got the puck behind the net. He had all kinds of time and space and poise, and he basically stick handled a couple players in the phone booth and then got to the front of the net and was able to jam it home. He made it look like he was playing against nobody, but he was playing against Sweden.
I mean, it's not even fair. Like, this guy's a defenseman. He's doing all that. You kidding me?
He's got a special talent. He's got a special talent. He's got a gift.
I've watched that goal at least 20 times. I'm gonna watch it some more before going to bed. It calms me. It makes me happy to think that this guy belongs to us. We're gonna have him in a few years. Oh God, I love him.
Yeah, when I'm in one of those moods like you are, I watch Lionel Messi or Ronaldinho videos. Those are goals that I like to watch as well.
Good call. But I was just wondering about the World Junior Summer Showcase. Why is it happening at the same time as the Linka Gretzky Cup? Because like on Team USA, Cole Eiserman plays for I think Team USA blue or white, whatever it is, but he's not playing in the Linka Gretzky Cup, which would have been great because all the other solid US players are playing in there. So why are they having it at the same time? I'm a bit confused by that one.
Yeah, listen, I don't think it's the ideal thing to do. Sometimes there's 2 sporting events that take place at the same time, and there's not much you can do. Take a look at the Olympics, by the way, okay? The, pardon me, not the Olympics, but the World Cup of Soccer, the Women's World Cup of Soccer, which is taking place in Australia. And as you know, of course, yesterday, Canada was officially eliminated following their 4-0 defeat to the hands of the host team, Australia, right? The women were playing, and at the same time, over the past couple of weeks, Lionel Messi has been doing his thing for Inter Miami in the MLS. And, like all eyes have been on Messi and all eyes have been on Inter Miami. Once again, I mean, there's going to be the same sport that's going to go on, different competitions at the same time. It's going to happen. And you look for great moments from both of them.
Fair enough.
Tony, a quick word on the women's soccer team. Well, I just did so. I mean, I'm not doing a soccer podcast or a women's soccer podcast right now. If I was, obviously, I'm gonna state the obvious. We all were hoping for more. It was an early exit. It was disappointing. There were disappointing performances, but it could be the wake-up call that the nation needs. So that could be the good that can come out of this. Tony, who do you think is the first coach to be fired this season?
Ooh.
That's a good question. The first coach to be fired this season.
I got one. I got it.
Go for
Mike Babcock. See ya.
No chance.
I don't believe in him. I don't believe in him, Tony.
You are so wrong.
The fit is not there. This is a young team that doesn't need a guy like Babcock behind the bench. Sorry.
Yeah. I don't believe in it. Yeah, I think that this is, out of all the names that you could have given me, this is the one that there's absolutely no chance. And I'm going to tell you why. He's back in the league after being out of the league for a very, very long time. He was still collecting money on his contract. And the second that contract was up, boom, he goes out and he gets hired. And you think that after all of this, that he's going to get fired right away? No, I don't believe that. I don't believe that. Let me see.
They probably won't fire him, but they should. But realistically, I think DJ Smith in Ottawa. His leash
Smith in Ottawa
is too long. He should. I think he should have been fired this summer. If they believe in him, by all means, try it out. They have a solid team this coming season, but the leash needs to be really short because you can't be wasting that kind of team. Like, sure, Ottawa started off slow in the beginning and then ramped it up at the end. Wasn't enough. The Atlantic Division is stacked, right? But this year, I feel like they should compete for a playoff spot. If they're not, he's gone. There's no way around that.
Let me go with Rick Bowness.
Ooh.
Winnipeg.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that.
Because at the end of the season, a lot of his players in the playoffs were underwhelming, disappointing performances. And some trades were made. Some players were not brought back. There was some movement. And so it's kind of like they pinned it on the players, and he's back. And if you recall, he really leashed out on his players at the end. So you know what? The players paid the price this time. And I think next time, if the job doesn't get done in Winnipeg, I think it's going to be Bonus. So you say Babcock, I say Bonus. You know what?
Yeah.
Well, you can't say and the DJ Smith. Like, you know what? It's Mozitumo. Which one is it? Is it Babcock or DJ Smith?
Okay, the odds are in favor of DJ Smith, but I really don't think the fit is there for Babcock.
And the fit is not there. And the fit is not there. Okay. I
don't see it.
Joel Kravitz says that John Tortorella will bite the bullet.
Okay. Maybe. But again, like, Philly doesn't have any expectations this year, right? They're supposed to be a bottom 5 team. So I don't know that you can justify firing Babcock. Sorry, not Babcock. Well, maybe Babcock too, but Tortorella. I do like the fit of Tortorella and Philly, though. I think that's a good fit. But maybe.
He's a fit for the fan base and for the market, which is a very tough fan base. And a very tough market.
Big time.
You're tripping if you think Babs will be fired. There's just no way he's 6 1/3. Who I agree with, by the way.
I don't know.
Johnny Junta says, I wrote Bonus in the chat. Johnny, I agree with you. 66 Spinning says John Cooper. No, I don't think it's going to happen. Ooh. Gabriel says it's between DJ Smith or Sheldon Keefe. A lot of pressure on Sheldon Keefe, of course. Think about it. Okay. A new general manager comes into town in Toronto, and Sheldon Keefe is not his guy. He's a guy of the previous general manager. That's not a bad pick. It's not a bad pick.
Yeah.
But I think Toronto's going to do well, though.
Yeah, I think they're going to, like, they're a regular season team, as we're used to. If, again, they don't go past the first or the second round, he's done. There's no way around that. But I don't think he'll be fired during the season. Because, like, the Atlantic Division is really strong, but out of all the teams that were like a contender last year in the Atlantic, I think Toronto got the better most, if that's English. I don't know, but I think they're going to do well in the regular season.
Don't worry about it. I never spoke very good English, and I made a career out of it.
There we go.
19 and a half years at the same radio station.
Yeah. I don't see him being fired during the season. At the end, probable. Very probable.
And I don't speak very good French either, and I'm making a career out of it too. But it's not about being perfect. It's just about putting in the time, putting in the effort, and trying to be a little bit better at, that and everything you do every day. Shout out to Murphy Clinic, an aesthetic clinic specializing in medical aesthetic care. They offer permanent laser hair removal as well as a wide range of treatments for skin problems such as acne, rosacea, fine lines, and more. They currently have 2 clinics, one located in Montreal Shop Angus and the second on the North Shore in Terrebonne. They're also opening soon in Quebec City. Visit murphyclinic.ca or on Instagram at Murphy Clinic. See, that's the way it's done, Shane. Così è fatto, la situazione. Capisci, Domo? It was a
I didn't
joke.
understand any of that.
It was a joke. Yeah, you didn't understand anything of that.
That's all I know.
Mositumo. Roses are red, violets are blue. I go to bed. Mositu. All right, okay. Why don't we bring up the list of the players one more time, and we're gonna say a name, and the second we say the name, we're gonna play a game here, right? The second we say a name, you're gonna say the first word that comes to mind.
You're going to get me in trouble.
For that player.
Oh, boy. Okay.
Okay?
Hit me.
I'll give you a couple. I'll take a couple. For you, Samuel Bolduc.
Fine.
It's a fine.
He didn't stand out. He wasn't terrible. Just there.
I'm gonna go with David Perron. I'm gonna go with wrister. He's got a great wrist shot. You, Raphaël Lavoie.
Tall. My goodness.
By the way, David Perron is written twice on this sheet. You see that? They wrote it twice.
Oh, yeah.
I just noticed that. Yeah.
That's how good he is. He's there twice. Well, side note, it's funny that the two Red Wings guys, Perron and Sprong, both had tinted visors, and Sprong had a pink visor today. I noted that, and that's weird. I've never seen that before. Pink visor. I don't know how you can see. Maybe he watched the Barbie movie and he was feeling it. I don't know. I don't know. Raphaël Lavoie, tall. That's a tall boy.
I don't know if he still is, but once upon a time, do you know who Daniel Sprong's father-in-law or future father-in-law was? Or is?
Enlighten me.
Kirk Muller.
Really?
Yeah.
Legend. Friend of the show.
Listen, that was going back up until a couple of years. I don't know if it's still the case. But yeah. What did you
Daniel Sprong, by the way, I thought was fantastic today. I don't know why he was here. Is he from Quebec? Like, I don't.
Yeah, he spends his summers here.
Yeah, well, happy to have him because he was great. Few really nice goals, and the pink visor stood out. I thought that's a really good acquisition by Detroit. By the way, he was fantastic with Seattle. Underrated player, really good goal scorer. So. Stay on the lookout for Daniel Sprong this year.
He scored 21 goals in 66 games with Seattle. 21 goals in 66 games. I mean, that's very good.
Like on the third line too. Like he got no minutes. His goals per 60 was insane. So watch out for him.
Says 66 spinning David Perron built a full-size hockey rink in his basement on Lac Memphremagog. He also, and here's something for you. His first purchase that he made when he started collecting NHL money, do you know what it was? His first pretty big purchase. You know what it was? He bought his own skate sharpener. He's very meticulous of the way his skates are sharpened.
Wow.
And he likes to do them himself. He does them on a particular angle, and he likes to do them often. So he bought himself his own skate sharpening machine.
It works. It works. Yeah. I mean, he was flying out there today. And he's up there in age too, so he was keeping up with the young guys. I loved what I saw.
We are going to be back tomorrow. Today I got a lot of messages from a lot of people, and I wasn't able to get back to a lot of those messages, and so I'll be able to get back to you later on this week, everyone, and more later on this week. Anyway, we'll talk soon. We'll be back tomorrow night, same time, same place. It's at 10 p.m. The Sick Podcast, and we'll see tomorrow as soon as something breaks. At that point, we know what we're going to talk about. We'll talk to you then. Thanks for watching. If you liked it, like it, share it with your friends, and tell your friends to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And leave us a 5-star review if you're listening on Google, Apple, or Spotify. For Shayne Gaumond and Agnello, Sammy, and Juliana at Master Control, they're Cavallaro. Thanks for watching. I'm Marinaro.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast with Tony Marinaro on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts. The Sick Podcast is brought to you by Energy Transportation Group, driven to be different. Bittt, embrace your true nature. And Playground, your premier gaming destination.